Most Massachusetts condo owners assume that between their association's master policy and their personal HO6 policy, everything is covered. It's not. There are gaps and exclusions that can leave you paying thousands of dollars out of pocket when something goes wrong. Today, I'm going to walk you through what your condo association does not cover, so you know the gaps before you discover them the hard way. Hi, I'm Carlos Vargas from Vargas & Vargas Insurance, and I've seen so many Bay State condo owners blindsided by these exclusions. Neither your HO6 policy or the master policy covers flood insurance. This is a huge gap for Massachusetts condo owners, especially in coastal areas and buildings near rivers. If you own a condo in the Seaport, East Boston, Revere, Winthrop, Quincy, or other waterfront area, flood is a real risk, but even inland condos flood. Basement units in Dorchester, South End, South Boston, Somerville can flood from overwhelmed storm drains or rapid snow melt in spring. Flood insurance is a separate policy. For condos, there is both a master flood policy for the association carries and an individual flood policy. If your building is in a flood zone, confirm that your condo association has flood coverage and consider your own policy for your unit's contents and improvements. About 25% of flood claims occur outside designated high flood zones. Do not assume that you're safe just because you're not in the flood zone. Your association's master policy has its own exclusions, and those become your problem. Most master policies exclude damage from earthquakes. Yes, Massachusetts has earthquakes. We had a 4.0 magnitude quake recently that was felt across eastern Massachusetts. If an earthquake damages the building, the association may assess each unit owner to cover these repairs. They also typically exclude normal wear and tear, maintenance issues, and damage from lack of maintenance. And here is what catches people. The master policy deductible. If the building suffers a covered loss and there's a $50,000 deductible on the master policy, and the association may assess the unit owners to cover that deductible. We'll talk about loss assessment coverage in a later video. If you cause damage to another unit, say your washing machine overflows and water damages the ceiling of the unit below you, the other owner's repairs might not be covered by their insurance or the master policy. They may come after you. Your HO6 liability coverage can help you there, but you need adequate limits. If your upstairs bathroom leaks and causes $50,000 in damage to the unit below you, you want to make sure your liability coverage handles it. In Massachusetts condos, water damage between units is one of the most common liability scenarios. Make sure your liability limits are adequate. We recommend at least $500,000 of coverage, and consider an umbrella policy for an additional protection. If you have upgraded your unit beyond the original condition, renovated the kitchen, installed hardwood floors, upgraded the bathrooms, these improvements may not be fully covered under the master policy if it's an all-in policy. The master policy typically covers the original build-out. If you have added $50,000 of upgrades, you need to make sure your HO6 policy covers those additions. In Massachusetts, many condo owners have made significant improvements to their condos. That condo in the South End with a custom kitchen, the converted triple-decker unit in Dorchester, Hyde Park, Jamaica Plain, Rosendale, or Mattapan with a new bathroom, make sure your policy reflects those upgrades, not just the original standard finishes. Standard personal property coverage has limits for certain categories: jewelry, artwork, collectibles, electronics, and firearms. If you own expensive items, you may need scheduled personal property coverage or a floater to fully protect them. That engagement ring worth $15,000, your standard policy might only cover for $1,500. Those expensive watches, that art collection, your high-end camera equipment, all may need additional coverage. Review your sublimits in your policy for specific categories. If you own high-value items that exceed those limits, schedule them specifically or add a floater. Water that backs up through sewers or drains typically is excluded from standard condo policies. This is different from a pipe burst or a supply line leaking. In Massachusetts, with our older sewer systems and heavy rain events, sewer backup is a real risk, especially in basements and lower level units. If sewage backs into your unit, you want coverage. Water backup coverage is usually available as an endorsement for an additional cost. For units at or below ground level in Massachusetts, we consider it essential. The cleanup and restoration from a sewer backup can cost tens of thousands of dollars. Your loss assessment coverage, which we'll cover in detail in another video, has limits and conditions that may leave gaps. Most standard policies include modest loss assessment coverage, around $1,000 to $5,000, but assessments after a major building loss can be much higher, $10,000 to $50,000. Check your loss assessment limits. In Massachusetts, with our older buildings and high property values, standard limits are often inadequate. So those are the major exclusions: flood, earthquake, earthquake, master policy gaps, damage you caused to other units, your improvements and upgrades, high value personal property, sewer backup, and loss assessment limits. Next up, I'll explain the difference between master policies, walls in and all in bare walls coverage, because understanding what your association covers is essential to knowing what you need to cover yourself. I will link that video here. And if you want us to review your condo coverage and identify any gaps, book a free coverage review. The link is in the description of this video. I'm Carlos Vargas with Vargas & Vargas Insurance. Remember, stay informed and stay protected. I'll see you in the next video.